Money has been sealed. The reinforcements are now on their way. I don't know what happens after that. I think likely we just get into like an all-out brawl between everybody who's involved here. And that's likely the only route that I feel like we can go. I don't know. I think this was the appropriate way for us to go, but I just don't know how we expand more upon where we're at besides having to kind of like trade blows in a way between the two sides before we can kind of progress to our next one. Whether we end up this entire time here and finish with like a victor at the end, or if something just happens and somebody's able to get away, like whatever the case might be, I feel like that's the necessary next step to create some other thing that makes them kind of driven, I guess, towards eliminating each other. I don't know. I mean, getting him unsealed, I guess, could be an option. That could be something that they're trying to work towards and trying to do. But I don't know. I just feel like that's not probably priority right now. So I don't really know what they're gonna do. Ultimately, when this video gets copyright claimed because Toho's the worst, there'll be a link in the description for you to go and watch the reaction if you're still interested in doing that. That usually happens a couple weeks out. But yeah, if you liked it all, hit the like and subscribe to me a lot. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave any comments with this episode or series. Let's go now with episode. The aftermath of the things that have occurred over the last couple weeks, and especially the last episode. What do? They throw you with another setup episode, which, to be fair, is done really well, and I think sets the stakes up for everything a bit more and makes it a little bit interesting to see what's coming. It leaves you with hope that Gojo's going to possibly be able to be unsealed if we're able to be victorious in this and win this. I think there's a 0% chance that happens, that he does. I just don't think logically it makes any sense unless they just hold it like this for another 10 episodes or whatever, and then we get it, like everything works out by the end of it, which would be like typical shonen route, I guess. Something like that would end up happening, and then you save them last second. But I think that's boring, and I don't think that'll be fun. So I'm going to say there's no chance. Also, I just feel, I don't know, the vibe you get, like, as this is kind of progressing, like I'm starting to notice and see certain things within certain characters or certain ways that they're kind of like framing things. That just makes me think it doesn't make much sense for us to do it. He's placing so much trust in these other people that I think it would make more sense and just be more fun to see everybody kind of crumble and fall apart and things don't actually work well, which would add more value to this person who everybody already looks at like he's the savior and that they'd be absolutely lost and nothing without him, because then it would make almost any other person that kind of comes up and opposes us at some point in the future seem like useless, because even if we take Gojo out from the situation, everything would still be okay because we were already able to overcome something like this when we all thought it was doomed from the moment that he was gone, right? So if we're not able to overcome this, it works out and makes a lot more sense to be able to progress the rest of the story along to a point that it's like you kind of need him, and then you can use him as like what we're trying to end up getting back at some other point in this future, which I think would make a lot more sense and would work a lot better. Like I said, though, I think this is a great way for them to do the setup. It allows us to kind of gain a lot of information into how people have gained the information that they've gotten so far, how everybody's kind of like joined back up and gotten back in touch with each other and informed everyone of the situation and what's going on, and you know, worked out their new plans and how they want to approach things next on both sides too. Everybody just kind of huddling back up and then discussing things. We get some other wagers and things set up between our curses over here, and they're figuring out what they want to do. Is some of them want to kill Yuji and some of them don't, and then they all have different strategies and things that we're going to do, and it sets up like the excitement of, oh, who's going to end up running into who first, and then you're going to have to see those people go against those other people. Like it's I don't know, the setup of it is pretty smart and just enjoyable to kind of watch and see unfold, which is pretty cool because it definitely allows you to be like, oh, this is a calm before the storm type of thing. Like we're transitioning slowly and building into what exactly is going to go down, and then things are going to get fucking crazy. But they also do it in such a fun and interesting way where you have these fun dynamics and just interactions between characters, and then we have a bunch of other things being set up, you know, with Mei being left behind for whatever's going on there. You have the bet between all the other curses and stuff that's going on there. You have Geto standing there and waiting, and now he has to see if anybody else is going to come approach him. The Mekamaru thing set up. You have a new squad of 3 that basically gets formed at the end there with Nanami moving out onto his own. So you have like everybody being set up to move into the things, and everybody has like their own interesting ways that they're going to maybe go about things and how they like plan to kind of progress things. And I'm excited. I think that actually was done fairly well, to leave me more intrigued for what's going to come. Not more intrigued, I would even say, just more excited for the way that they've built this up. That I think like if everybody just randomly ran into somebody else after what happened last time, if everybody were to just like kind of run into each other, it wouldn't be as fun. Whereas now we've kind of set some stakes and set up a whole bunch of things that it makes things a lot more fun. We set up our whole Mechamaru thing here at the beginning and explain exactly what his role is, how exactly he kind of got here, what exactly his reasons for doing whatever it is that he is, and all, it kind of makes sense and works out really well. And then we get to see Gojo actually get sealed here. This is interesting. The Geto stuff's cool to see him being basically taken over and controlled by the person's body or whatever that he's taken over. I'm still a little confused on that part, but I just know like he's inside somebody or somebody's inside of him, something like that, and they can control each other basically. That's essentially what I'm getting out of it, and I think that's all that's really important. But it is interesting to definitely see and talking about the idea how the actual body itself is a part of the soul, and the soul isn't like this standalone thing, and something like Mahito keeps trying to preach over the course of the entire series so far. And how these things are kind of connected in a way, but then also being brought up and told by Mahito that there's a possibility that it could be because of his own technique or something like that that is causing this type of stuff to happen, this sort of reaction, or this sort of outlier, I guess, like the situation that doesn't usually happen, right? The oddity of this, like, I think that's interesting to think about too, that they're putting it in a way, or wording it in a way that allows them to not have to follow suit in the future, but then they can also follow suit like whatever way they want and kind of leave things a little open-ended, which is usually like a little bit smarter of a way to do things, so you don't back yourself into a corner and kind of trap yourself. We're able to seal Gojo. Things go not too well, as he's apparently able to break himself out of this. We also find out that while he's in it, he can kill himself, which will just kind of release him and do that. We know he's not going to do that. He can't do anything while he's in it. So what I just said about him breaking himself out, that's not true. But if we're able to, I don't know, they might have said it, I just can't remember if they said something along the lines of like, we can stop it before it processes, but I don't know how exactly you go about doing that. Regardless, he's in there, he's fully conscious of the stuff that's going. He said time doesn't really pass, so he's just kind of in the void really, and he's just chilling on a little break until somebody comes along that can kind of help him. We work with Mei here, and we're able to convince her basically to stay back and do whatever she's got to, while we send Yuji out and tell him, hey, go fucking warn everybody and tell people what's going on. Also, the funniest thing of her asking Mechamaru if his bank account's still open about his money, even though Brett's dead, it's the craziest shit. Like, it's so fucked up, but it's funny as hell. I love the environment also that he's sealed inside of. Like everything that's kind of around them and just how he's chilling in there. I think it's really cool. All the teams kind of being informed or on the same page and understanding what exactly is going on. We all enter into the first veil here, and we get in. We get introduced to these people. I think this one we know for sure, right? We've seen this person, but we haven't been talked to or like actually know anything about them. And I could be wrong, but this might be the person that was also involved at the event with the other guy who had like the cleaver and stuff, but it might not be this person either. I just feel like I thought there was a blonde person there. Regardless, we get two other people that we're gonna have to watch out for, who are out here already going fucking crazy and killing people. Mechamaru has been discovered, so they're aware that they're coming for them and trying to find them. Yuji screaming from the top is actually fantastic, and it's so cool. His way of just coming up here, trying to get attention of Nanami here and tell everybody what exactly has happened and inform them. So I don't know, it's just so cool. We make our plans, everybody kind of has their own thing. Some of us want to kill Yuji, some of us don't. It's also interesting to note that Sukuna's not in a lot of their plans. Some of them, yes, but some of them don't really have a use for him, especially like Geto here doesn't see the purpose of really having Sukuna around, and he's like, dude, he's a backup. If we can't do this, then we'll have to, ultimately go to that route. But right now things can go pretty well, and they're liking their odds, which is just an interesting way of doing it. Also, like, they're not going to be able to just kill Yuji, right? Like, I'm positive that's the case. And it's not because it's like, oh, main character type thing, but it's more of, at least how I'm taking it. If feels more of like, isn't there something where like if they kill him, Sukuna will just end up being able to take over, right? So like he's gonna come out regardless if they do that. So I guess it works for them at the end of the day. But he's gonna get pissed because he always gets mad when people like attack them. Like I think ultimately we're gonna see him come out at some point throughout this arc, and he's just gonna fucking kill like two different people that we've been worried about this entire time. Like I wouldn't be surprised if something along those lines happened. These girls that are always following Geto are pissed at this other dude for taking him over. And not just releasing him, which is just funny as hell. I don't like how I'm gonna struggle to tell who's like speaking each time. But it is what it is. And then we start creating some plans here. Nanami entrusts us with everybody else. He goes on his own. We don't like when we send people on their own because we know what ends up happening. We'll see. And then we got this guy who I have zero faith in at all. I'm just being honest. He just seems like a goof to me. So I have no clue. But I guess I'm excited to see what he's capable of here. And we got our fucking trio here, which is, they look good together at least. So it'll be fun, hopefully. At the end, we get introduced to a couple new people, a weird lady with beads and stuff, a weird dude with like shit on top of his head, and then other guy in the back, all these old motherfuckers. I have no clue what their role's going to be, but we got a lot of people going against us, it appears. So I don't know if they're like a third party operating in this or if they're involved with somebody. I don't know what their purpose or role is going to end up being, so I am interested into that. I think it would be more fun. I always think it's more fun when there's just like this third party involved. It makes no sense why they're there, and they're just gonna like, well, they're just gonna cause like chaos because nobody knows what the fuck's going on, and then it's just a 1v1v1 type of thing, like in every fight instead of just having like one-on-ones. I think it'll just be really fun. It's gonna be all for me. Fun, like I said, for a setup of a whole bunch of things that are gonna be coming, and right before I believe they will ultimately get into it. Probably won't like really hit the fan for another 2 or 3 episodes, I would say. Like, not saying that next episode will be just like this, but I think it'll be like encounters of a couple different people, and it might not necessarily be like actually fighting and stuff beginning. And it'll be a couple more things being like set up right before things start going down. And I think that would be a proper pacing to really move us along. So excited, I guess, to see how all of that kind of unfolds. If you liked it, I'll hit the like and subscribe to me. Feel free to check out the other videos on the channel. Leave me any comments about this episode or series. I'll be back for episode 11 next week, though. You guys have a good one.